Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Tootie Talk Sis. How y'all doing on this lovely Tuesday? Baby, I just watched this interview and I raced over here so quick to try to get on this doggone YouTube and talk to y'all to ask y'all one question. First, let me check my sounds to make sure that y'all can hear and see me, that I'm not talking too low or I'm not talking too loud because y'all know I be talking loud. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay, yes, y'all can hear me. Let me let me get these do, 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 do. I forgot how to put my comments up, but because I told y'all I'm using a new streaming service. So let's get down to it because I don't have much time up in here today. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So in this interview, Jasmine Crockett just did an interview because some of the Epstein's files are being released. They put together a group to go over the Epstein's file. I want to say it's an independent group, or I don't know if it's a dim. Let me not say that. I don't know if it's a dim group or it bipartisan. I don't know, but it's a group that they sending over to go over the Epstein's file because they're saying that the files that was released, like a lot of it was so redacted that it's just black words and it's in and duh. Like, and they're like, okay, they went. And she also talked about a picture that they redacted pictures, and they sending people over to try to see um to go over the files and see what can and can't be released and why things are being redacted. So anyway, they have seen some facts, right? And also, I think his name is Acosta. He who is the attorney who gave Epstein that sweetheart deal in his first case. I think he's doing a disposition this Friday. I know it's this week. So let me hit y'all with this question. Let me hit y'all with this question. I haven't been counseled yet, but this right here, this might do it. Um, this question right here, it might go ahead and do it. So my question is, once watching this interview, and this I'm gonna play it. The interview's 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes. Once watching this interview, and from deductive logic. Now, why once watching this interview, my question is Donald Trump keeping these Epstein files and the Republicans trying to keep these Epstein's files sealed or not release them because the first lady of the United States is in it? Y'all remember that she's suing Hunter Biden? Well, she said she was gonna sue him for $1 billion because he said he repeated what an author wrote and have said in plenty of interviews is that Melania met Trump through Epstein, which is what the author said. I think since then it been clarified what the author said. Well, what I'm saying is that they ran in the same circles. I don't necessarily know if he introduced them, but they ran in the same circles. So y'all know the first lady was a model. And you see her nude pictures that Russia when Trump won, that Russia played out on the news. Y'all know she's an immigrant. So what Jasmine Crockett said was that during this SEX that traffic ring that Epstein had set up, it was also involving a model agency that was full of uh, girls from different countries, and they would get their papers, their citizenship through pretty much illegal ways. So you also remember Jasmine Crockett had said that the first lady ended up coming over here on this almost like this scholar like thing the way that she was able, I'm gonna play the video that she was able to come over here, which was like for top athlete geniuses, pretty much geniuses to bring them over to the United States. She somehow got one. So let's watch this interview. And then I'm gonna bring up the old interview to remind you of what she said. First, no, you know what? Let's watch the old interview first because that is a short. Let's watch the old interview. And then I'm gonna play the new interview just to refresh y'all memory of the old interview before. So when you say when she say what she said about this SEX traffic ring and how they was getting papers, remember this.
Melania, the first lady, a model. And when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. Let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin' here.
Not everybody could marry Donald Trump, and I think that's quite an achievement. So I think she deserves credit for that. Nobody up here could have done it.
You sure right, I couldn't do it. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model. And when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. Let me tell you how you receive an Einstein visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin'.
Now, let's watch this interview about what they discovered in the Epstein files. Let me pull that up for y'all and remember what I just showed you and see what y'all think. See if the same question that hit me hit y'all.
So I'm going to
And we also now to not just focus on this First Lady thing. What was also she's going to reveal in this interview that she does is that this ring isn't just Epstein. Like this is U.S. government officials, international officials. He was able to get away with it for so long, so because he was so deeply connected. So they want to get all these names of all these people who was involved in it, that's in the U.S. government, in foreign affairs, in international government. So let's watch this.
Repeat what I said almost 2 hours ago, and that is when you look at that drawing, that's a drawing that boys share amongst themselves, right? So that's a relationship. That's that's what that speaks to. And so as this thing begins to unfold even more, I think it's an important thread to keep pulling on, is that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile, had a relationship.
Oh yeah, they were boys.
They were boys.
Like no question about it. I mean, he's the only one that's trying to kind of throw it out there and say, oh, no, it's a hoax, and no, this is Democrats, and no, well, he didn't say that he was a CI, but we had this confidential informant. The speaker told me something. No, he the one that, flipped on him. Well, how can you flip on somebody? Even though I know he's run that back. But literally, the fact that he even thought that he could, the only people that can ever flip on somebody are the people that are closest to them.
Right.
Period. Right? And so, like, this idea that he wasn't close to him is crazy. But I do think that it's going to be so important for us to really dig in, because what we are ascertaining is, number one, there were lots of modeling agencies that were doing things, and the modeling agency was basically a farce. And there's a lot of people that we want to talk to, and a lot of these models came from foreign countries. I'm just leave it there.
Anyone specific?
I'm going to leave it there, but I am trying to dig on a certain thread for sure.
Now, at that point, that's what I'm talking about. Do y'all think she's talking about the First Lady? Compared to what she had just said in the previous clips that I showed you a couple of months ago about how she got obtained her visa. And then she just said this. What do y'all think?
Oh, that begs the question, and these new Epstein documents, is that part of your digging in and sort of unpacking a lot of that kind of information, sort of connect bigger dots to
oh, absolutely. So here's the thing. Like, obviously, this is concerning to have a potential pedophile as a president. That is concerning, right? But this is like even bigger than him. I want people to understand the information that we were given about foreign governments and their participation, the information we were given about our own federal government and how high of a level we're talking about as far as like them being in cahoots. We know that JP Morgan Chase ended up paying out a large settlement because they basically kind of looked the other way as there were these ridiculous wire transfers that were going by. We know that there were fake corporations that were set up. We know that, or at least we've been told that there were fake immigration documents that were put together so that women from other countries could end up over here. We know that there were allegedly fake marriages. This goes and it reeks.
Fake immigration papers, fake marriages.
Through every single level of government. And it's one of those reasons that these survivors have been quiet for so long, right? Because literally they would walk in and they would see these pictures of Epstein with all of these powerful people from all over the world. And then he would threaten them and say, if you say anything, just know I know everybody, right? And so I think if we are going to prevent Epstein 2.0, or if Epstein 2.0 is taking place right now, I think it's something that we nip this in the bud right now and we learn what we did not know and we put some safeguards in place to prevent this type of thing from happening.
Because you're coming to this not just as a member of Congress, you're coming to someone as someone who has actually prosecuted cases. You understand how to build a case. I wonder, given that we're talking about a series of documents, some of which have been released, some of which have not, but also people who can offer information like Alex Acosta, who can tell us what went into the decision behind that.
Now, as I said, Alex Acosta is the attorney who gave him that sweetheart deal, who ended up being promoted by Trump. And that's who they're talking about when they say Alex Acosta.
Sweetheart deal. As you begin to build a case, do you see the most value in the documents, or do you see the value in sort of these people who can give you firsthand testimony about what it is that happened and what it is you should be looking for?
I think that to start the case, it's the documents for me, right? Because, you know, I tell people all the time, I bring receipts, right? Like, they are irrefutable. So when we start to talk about things such as the white, like, it's about following the money. This is a big money situation. So, like, how are you going to refute this, right? Like,
transactions
the
are transactions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, like, to make it to where this is not political, to make it to where it's literally just getting down to the nitty gritty, for me, it starts with the documents. Remember, the president has said, oh, this is a Democratic hoax. And then we know that we heard from at least one survivor saying, listen, I voted for you. Like, I trusted that you really.
Also, after that one survivor came out and said that at the end of the first press conference that the survivors did, they went on to a TV show and did a press conference. Another survivor also said she voted for Donald Trump, and they believed that he would release these files.
Wanted to get to the bottom of this, which honestly, if you're not involved, then like, why would you then kind of want to sweep this under the rug? So for me to get it kind of out of the political realm, I would actually want to start with the actual documents, such as the birthday book. It is what it is. Like, bro, you said there was no note to your homeboy, and we've got it, and it's kind of icky, as well as, like, who wrote that? Like,
let me show y'all the note, because I talked about it yesterday, but I didn't really get into details. So I want to show y'all the note and what it said. It's the weirdest note, birthday thing I have ever seen in my life. So yeah, it's just odd. And it reminded me of, I want to say it was Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke, who said he was invited to Mar-a-Lago, and he went, and it was eyes wide shut. Like, that's how it was set up with all the activities that was going on up in there, with the nudeness, the nakedness, and the sex that was everywhere. But it reminded him of eyes wide shut. And to me, this poem, I said, what in the what? So let me show y'all. That is the birthday card. I shouldn't call it a poem. Let me read what's on there. So it says, the top says voiceover. Then the line up under there must be more to life than having everything. Then it says Donald. And the line under there, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Then it says Jeffrey. Nor would I, since I also know what it is. Then it says Donald. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Then it says Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Then it's Donald. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Then it's Jeffrey. As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Then it's Donald. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. So that is the birthday card. And it's signed by Donald, but Donald was saying that is not his signature. And he never drew a lady body. And all he can do is like draw a little house is just like a rectangle and then a triangle on top. That is it. So let's continue. Let's continue on with this interview.
What is like second grade level.
What did you all discuss in the meeting today? Like, where do you go from here?
So we talked about like our upcoming hearings. We have a big markup on DC. So we've got to deal with all the bills that are about to come through and come up with our strategy on that as well. But basically we were kind of getting a rundown of like what's happening next. Like we've been able to get some of these documents. One of the ones that was not shared by y'all, maybe y'all shared it earlier today. It's also kind of this picture, and it talked about the $22,000, and it basically says something to the effect of buying someone who had basically run their course, like a person,
Yeah,
a woman.
We have not yet shared that image with our audience. I'm curious, given that you have staffers going to New York to sit down with the Epstein estate on Wednesday, what is it you want them looking for in those documents?
So for them, what we expect committee staff to do is to make sure that the things that they did redact, because all we're getting is redacted documentation. And frankly, I don't think that the DOJ has actually been very forthcoming with a lot of the documents that they've given us. Obviously, we know that the early documents they gave us are basically things that we already had, but then they literally were sending us pages and everything black. I'm like, so the and A and U, that's gotta be like redacted. Like, so this is just to make sure that these are good faith redactions, unlike what I feel like we're getting out of the DOJ. So like they then will explain like the one thing that I was just talking about, it's a picture, right? And so it's got different faces redacted. So we don't know who those people are. So now it'll be an explanation as to why is their face redacted? What are we hiding and that kind of stuff. So at least the staff will see everything without anything kind of being blacked out.
So I want to go back to the point that you made about that Alicia raised, persons that you want to talk to versus the documents.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate the lawyer and you saying, okay, I want to see the receipts. Yeah. But then there is the conversation with the people. Do you trust the conversation you will have with Mr. Acosta? Do you expect him to be truthful?
Do I expect him to be? I don't. Okay. Am I hopeful that he will be? I am. I plan to be in the room. That is going to take place next Friday. And I plan to be in the room because any skilled litigator understands how to make sure you can set a trap. So I expect him to do his best to be truthful, because there are ways to ask questions that basically he may see it like there's no way they can get me on this. But it's a simple trap, and it's a way that we will be able to get it. So I'd suggest that he tread very carefully and understand that truthfulness is paramount. But he is giving a deposition. So I thought it was a transcribed interview. Right. But a deposition means that there is the threat of perjury. Because there's an oath taken at the beginning of that deposition. Correct. Right.
What you pretty much doing is warning him, you lie, we're going to catch you and we're going to lock your ass up. That's what that translates into, because it is a deposition. So legally, he is not supposed to lie. So if they catch him in a lie under that deposition, That's why she told him to tread carefully. Like, watching your ass, she gonna be like the Menace to Society guy. See, this way you fucked up. At first you said.
You do that next Friday. You sit in the room. How soon is it that you can begin to disseminate whatever information it is you gather in that deposition?
So technically, our behind closed doors depots and transcribed interviews were not supposed to go out and talk about. Comer has a problem with keeping his mouth shut. So it's a matter of if Comer opens the door, then the door is open, right? So we just wait on him to go and open the door, which he typically does. But depending on what comes out, he may not. So the rules prevent us, though, unless and until there is an agreement that we release the full kind of transcribed interview or the full deposition, because people like to cherry pick, right?
So this leads me to believe that it's going to be another long process. Yes, they may have the deposition, but she said legally they can't come out and give out the deposition or talk about the deposition. They will have to then go through, and then again, I'm assuming this must be bipartisan, and get Republicans and Democrats to agree that we could release this full deposition. And I'm like, I hope we're not in the same cycle again, where now we're going through all this just to get documents released, because we'll still be waiting, like the Epstein files is waiting to be released, but we'll see.
And so the fullness really matters.
Will House Oversight Democrats seek to get that deposition, particularly from a cost of release, given that it's paramount of importance to the survivors and to folks like us sitting at this table?
Yeah, I think the ranking member will get with the rest of leadership and will kind of give a readout on what took place, and then kind of figure out which way to go from there.
All right, giving us the details, Representative Jasmine Crockett.
And when you do release and want to talk about it, we got to...
Yeah, we have a nice seat for you, so you come on back now.
We look right there. We call to America and tell them.
At the top of the hour.
Yeah. So that is that interview. So a lot of things were talked about as far as the sex trafficking scheme that the Epstein had going on. We found out that, and I shouldn't say we found out, but because it's been said that it was very high position people who were there. And now they're saying that it was in the U.S. government and in international government, that these people who was a part of this Epstein sex trafficking is a part of the U.S. government and a part of the international government. I also found out that in this trafficking scheme, it was tied into model agencies. Model agencies would then have girls, because the model agency picked girls from different countries, which probably why it was high government officials, international government officials involved in it. But they had a lot of girls, a lot of immigrants from different countries, and they would provide them with these passports to come here to the United States for this sex trafficking scheme. So Acosta does his interview, who is the attorney who prosecuted Epstein and gave him the sweetheart deal. He's supposed to be doing a deposition next Friday, and then we're going to see if that's going to be released. And they also have a group going over to the Epstein estates to review these documents to see if they can get them from being redacted and get pictures from being redacted. And so, y'all, there'll be more to come. And I think next we're going to talk about, I'm trying to get to the TD Jakes and his daughter being sued for sexual harassment. I don't know I can't remember if it's harassment or assault. The problem is, come to find out, the man who did it is already in jail for sexually assaulting TD Jakes' daughter. It was her adopted daughter. So he's in jail for that right now. So I'm trying to get more information about his first case. And I'll probably just end up talking about it, and y'all fill me in on what I got wrong. But yeah, that's coming next. I also want to talk about that more political, the press interview they did about this January 6th and how that's coming back up. And my question for that is, the ones who was pardoned, Can now the police officers go out of them and sue them? Because come to find out, these police officers end up losing wages who was there protecting people and got hurt. Some had to retire early. Some could not continue on the force because of the injuries. So, we're going to talk about that too, y'all. Also put in the comments what y'all want to talk about next. Okay, I have to get out here. I have to go back to work. I have to make these queens like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because there'll be more to come of these short videos. And then there's going to be more of me joining another YouTuber, talking on her channel, collaborating with her. So you get to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss anything. Okay, I will talk to y'all later.